The Solitaire Series, Episode 28, Jack of Diamonds, by Troy Lambert. Narrated by Troy Lambert. Copyright 2020, audio copyright 2025. Jack! Simion greeted him with enthusiasm. And Joseph, too. Jack had left 2 bags here at his friend's limo business. They were in the customer lobby. Really just a counter, concrete walls, and a few plastic chairs of various colors. Most of Simion's customers would never come here. He went to them. The few who did wouldn't stay long. This was somewhere people paused, though, and rarely dwelt in. That's what Jack hoped for. A quick grab of his stuff and an exit, nothing more. He felt exposed. Sure, he felt less exposed since Joseph, a friend of his father's, now friend of his, had answered his message and arrived in Vegas. "Hey, Simion," he said. "I left a couple of bags here." "You did. I saw you coming, and I have them ready." He indicated the bags already beside him. "Thanks," Jack said. He looked over at Joseph, a bald, serious-looking man who wasn't smiling at all. "How have you been, Simion?" Joseph asked. "Good, Joseph, good." "Any unusual visitors today?" "Nope, none at all. No one unusual." Jack watched the exchange. Joseph seemed to be studying something. That something seemed to make Simion nervous. Boris stayed close to his thigh. Jack could feel him shaking, but couldn't tell if it was from anger or from fear. The air felt charged with electricity. Jack waited for lightning. Then Joseph smiled. "That's good, my friend. We wouldn't want any trouble, and I know you wouldn't either." "No, I sure wouldn't," Simion said. "There's nothing you want to tell me then?" Joseph asked. "No, nothing at all." "Good. Jack?" The 2 turned to leave together, and the 2 men with them, bodyguards really, did the same. "Jack?" Simion asked. "Yeah." Jack only half turned to answer. He didn't have energy for much more. He needed sleep. A lot of it. "Where are you headed? Are you going to be okay?" "I'll be fine," Jack said, avoiding the first part of the question. "I'll see you around." He left without knowing if what he said was true or not. Joseph led him to a waiting SUV. Boris jumped in and Jack followed painfully, his scarred right side aching. Ever since Joseph had told him about a plastic surgeon, one with special skills who could even help him, Jack felt something new inside himself. Suddenly, he resented his injuries. He wanted them to be gone. He wanted to live how he had before the attack. He wanted to run again. He felt tired, but filled with hope at the same time. Under both of those emotions, he felt dread. He was sure there was something he would have to go through before this was all over, even if his fresh dreams became reality. It had nothing to do with fear of the surgeries or the pain of recovery. No, there was something else. Jack could feel the thunderclouds following him, the rain and lightning about to burst forth, shocking and drowning in their intensity. The SUV pulled away from the curb and sped down the side streets toward the freeway. As they reached the main road, Joseph turned to him. "I know this may be uncomfortable, Jack, but I must insist." He held out a black nylon bag in one hand. "Put it on. No one can know where this place is, including you." Jack took the bag and obeyed. As he slipped it over his eyes and his view of the world around him disappeared, the feeling of dread got even stronger. Bert waited for the SUV to leave and looked right and left before walking over and hitting the buzzer next to the gate. He didn't look at all like himself, but he didn't want to take any chances. Instead of his usual loud suit and red hat, he wore a pair of jeans and a light Las Vegas Raiders hoodie. He wore the blue hat he had recently purchased to complete his disguise, so it didn't shock him when the voice from the box asked the question. "Can I help you?" "Man, it's Bert." He shifted uncomfortably from foot to foot. He hated being out here. What was going on with him? A few days ago, he'd just been a 2-bit card-counting gambler with a loud mouth and louder clothes. He was doing it, making a living and loving his life. Then he met Jack, some scarred-up guy, and followed him out of curiosity. Now he was here, without his Mustang, being chased by someone he didn't know after nearly being killed in a backroom game of Crazy Eights, of all the card games in the world. There had been a woman there, the winner, who disappeared. 2 men he didn't know had been killed on the spot. It was time to head east, New Orleans, Atlantic City, maybe even Europe somewhere. It was too goddamn hot here anyway. You don't look like Bert, the answer came. Fuck, man, it's me. He pulled back his hood but left the cap on. Probably no one here had ever seen him without one, although he never wore this style before, that was for sure. Jesus, Bert, come on in. The gate buzzed, and Bert walked quickly to the front door and went inside. The hell are you dressed like that for? Simion asked. Bert thought the man looked a little stressed out. I had to change. I need a little help. The Spartan lobby always creeped him out a little bit, as he knew what lay beyond was so vastly different. It seems to be a day when a lot of people need help, Simion mumbled. What can I do for you? Bert explained the game of Crazy Eights, which elicited a whistle. What the hell did you step in, Bert? I have no idea, he said. You know that guy Jack? Have you heard of him? Simion hesitated, and Bert knew he was lying, but he didn't care. If it was important enough, no, bad enough that Simion would lie to him, he didn't want to know any more. No, it doesn't ring a bell. You'd know if you knew him, Bert said. He's all scarred up on his right side. Still nothing, Simion said. Where do you want to go? East? I have a connection in Atlantic City. He can get you set up for now. How much do you want to spend? I don't care, Bert said. You still want my Mustang? I'd love it. Are you selling it? Sure, as long as I have the option to buy it back when I come back. If you come back. Whatever. Give me 10 grand off whatever you're offering and she's yours. Deal. Come with me and I'll make some calls. Bert followed him through a small door into an opulent office area. Drink? The man asked. Sure. Bourbon. Simion poured some amber liquid from a decanter and handed it over. Bert took a sip, and Simion moved behind a desk, opening a laptop and then taking a cell phone from a drawer. He looked from one screen to the other and dialed a number. Bert sat in a comfortable leather chair in what appeared to be sort of a waiting area or an informal meeting space. 2 leather couches and 2 wingback chairs sat next to a glass coffee table. He grabbed a coaster and set his drink gently on the table. Art hung on the walls, Russian maybe from the style. There was a large bookcase, and the titles were split between English and a language he did not recognize, but one with acrylic alphabet instead of an Arabic one. Simion smiled and chatted, and Bert didn't really listen until the man said his name. Bert, come here, he said. Bert walked across the thick carpet as Simion spun the laptop. Enter your card information here. Sure, Bert said. The site looked plain, and all he saw was form places for a card and billing information. He entered it all, and then hit enter. As he did, his phone chimed, letting him know a withdrawal had been made from his bank account. All set, Simion said. Now we wait. Wait? Your flight leaves in 45 minutes. Bert looked at his phone and gulped half of the bourbon in one swig. I paid that much for commercial? No, it takes 45 minutes to prep the jet. You'll be there before you know it. Thanks, man. I'll be glad to be out of here. I'm sure, and good luck. Simion poured himself some bourbon, and he and Bert made their way to the couch. How's things for you? Bert asked. Busy on this side of things. Seems a lot of people are running, and there seems to be some sort of shake-up happening here in Vegas. Shake-up? A few members of Blackjack, a relatively new player, were almost killed earlier tonight. There's something else, too, but I can't put my finger on it. Huh. Well, I hope it works out. A buzzer sounded. Boss? A voice came over an intercom. Yeah? Simion asked without moving. There's someone else at the front door. Who the fuck is it? Pick. Jesus Christ. Hey, Bert? Yeah. You're my... The Romanian looked at his pale skin and back at Bert's dark chocolate complexion. My very distant cousin. No, friend. From... Where are you from? Detroit. No, further back. The Carolinas, I think. Why? God Damn, I mean, you're my friend from Detroit. That's fine. Okay. What's happening? We have a special visitor. Do you know who Charles Pickard was? Afraid not. You really are just a gambler, aren't you? Independent, with no affiliations? I am. But you know there are forces at work here in Vegas? Organizations? Well, yes, but Charles Pickard was a military guy with some great ideas. He made solitaire pretty damn rich. You know who they are, right? Bert thought back to the first time he saw Jack. I do. Pick, the dude who's here, is his son. Interesting. Why should I care? In this case, the fruit fell a long way from the tree, or rather the nut. What do you mean? He's goddamn crazy. Just let me do the talking, okay? Sounds fine to me. The door opened and a tall kid with thick curls, large white teeth, and a thin body walked in. He wore a flowered shirt, khaki shorts, and flip-flops. A new scab covered scratches on his knee. Hey, Pick, Simion said. How have you been? He moved forward to shake the new arrival's hand, and Bert watched as Pick grabbed the Romanian's hand, spun him into his arms, and put him in a headlock. I'm great, the young man exclaimed. He gave Simion noogies on his head, and then let him go. Noogies. Bert stared. Who was this guy? Who's your new friend? Pick said, staring at Bert and then walking towards him. Bert put his hand out to shake without thinking. Pick knew he shouldn't have done it, but the African-American man looked nice. He didn't know Pick, but he'd just seen him spin Simion around. So he grabbed the man's hand, spun him into a headlock, and gave him noogies right through that silly ball cap he was wearing, which, of course, fell off. The man's head was shaved bald. In the center of the back, Pick saw a single tattoo, a spade. The man squirmed out of his arms and spun to look at him. His face was filled with rage. Pick couldn't really blame him. What the hell are you doing? Bert, he'd said his name was, stared at him. I'm joking around, Pick said. He grinned, hoping it would unnerve his new acquaintance. Okay, you two, Simion said, especially you, Pick. What the hell were you thinking? You know me. I don't do much thinking. That is, yes, Bert is a friend. I'm helping him with some vacation plans. I see, Pick said. He didn't, but it didn't matter. Bert looked rather uncomfortable in his newish hoodie, jeans, and some really nice-looking fucking dress shoes. Down to business, then, he said to Simion. Jack Bardlow. I don't know who, Simion started. Don't lie to me, Simion. I asked Terry. Terry told me to ask you. Terry is never wrong about who knows who. Is the Jack you're talking about the one with all the scars? Bert asked from behind him. Scars? Yeah, all scarred up on the right side. Bert indicated his own side to illustrate, and Pick laughed. He loved it when people did that. It was so silly. Never met the man, Pick said. Do you know him? Know where he might be? Bert backed up. We've met. I don't know his last name, and I have no idea where he might be. And you? Pick turned on Simion. What Bert said was interesting, but it had no bearing. Pick didn't need to learn about Jack. His father had said to find him, show him his card. That's exactly what Pick intended to do. His father was really the only person who had ever been able to command him to do things, and he still could, even beyond the grave. Bert stepped next to Pick, and they stood shoulder to shoulder. Pick didn't know why Bert had joined him, but he didn't care. He could tell it bothered Simion, and so he put his arm around his new friend. Simion stared at both of them. I don't know where he's gone, but I know who left with him, and you aren't the only ones looking for him. And? Pick, can we talk about this privately? Nope. Whatever you have to say to me, you can share with my new friend, too. It's okay, Bert said. I was just leaving for... Your vacation? Pick finished for him. I don't think you're going anymore. I think you're going to stay and help me instead. Why would I do that? Money, and one other thing. What's that? Pick made a knife appear in his hand and held it to Bert's throat. Because if you help me, I'll let you live. Until that moment, Pick wasn't sure precisely what it looked like when a black man went pale, but he knew now. He turned around quickly. And you, Simion, tell me everything you know. While we talk, can I get some of that bourbon? Why not? Simion asked no one. Pick just smiled as the remaining poured him a glass and walked over to him. Now, you're going to explain 2 things to me. Okay. Simion sat in a chair, and Bert and Pick sat together on one of the couches. First, I thought you'd be into vodka. He sipped his drink. This is good bourbon. Thanks. Second, what do you know about Jack and where he might have gone? Simion opened his mouth to answer, and the buzzer for his intercom sounded again. Thanks for listening to the Solitaire Series, Episode 28, The Jack of Diamonds. Next up, Episode 29, The 4 of Spades.